Hello, welcome to the Quality Inspector Hank's channel. In this video, we are going to talk about one topic. What is the nightmare when you work with the Chinese factories and how to deal with this nightmare? Well, there are many nightmares when you handle the supply chain, whenever it's in China or in other countries. But especially in China, according to my experience, there are too many nightmares. And one of the nightmares is the mass production product, the material, is different from the approved samples material. The components are different. Recently, one of my customers was working with a very big LED light factory from China. This factory, huge. They have different manufacturer base in different cities, and they have their own brand, lighting brand, selling big quantity. And for this case, they are the OEM factory for our customer, and we are the responsible third-party quality inspector. In the beginning of the purchase process, the supplier sent us samples, and we checked the BOM, the specification, and the reliability, everything fine, and the customer also approved it. But after the first order finished production, we went their factory to do the pre-shipment inspection. We select samples for different types, and we break the housing, check the inside BOM material. You know what we found? We found one type of the product. There was no thermal grease. This is very terrible. I have to explain what is thermal grease. Thermal grease is the kind of material we put it in the backside of the LED, the PCB, and it can transfer the heat from the LED to the iron housing, aluminum housing, to reduce the temperature of the LED, because the temperature is most important for the LED's lifespan. If there is no thermal grease, definitely the temperature changed, the lifespan reduced. So the buyer, the customer, was very angry after they received our inspection report. And I can understand he also have to worry or think about how to solve it and how to move ahead. So here is my solution. Firstly, I think we have to know something about this case. First, this light cannot be repaired because this light has a cover, it's glass, it's glued on the housing. So it's possible if we select several piece samples and break the glass and check the inside or change the inside component. But it's impossible. It's also not safe if we break all the glasses for thousands or tens of thousands of pieces and to repair them. That's not a good plan. That's not possible. Second, if the buyer insists to reproduce all this batch, ask the factory to make another batch for the buyer. That's possible. And the buyer has the right to do this according to the contract. But that will break the relationship between the buyer and the supplier. You know, many things are negotiable. Sometimes buyer need supplier support. Sometimes supplier need buyer support. Many things need to negotiate, not just say yes or no. So we have to give the supplier some space for negotiation. Third, if the buyer has no choice but to keep the quality, they have to break the relationship with the supplier. That will be huge loss for both sides. If the buyer say, I won't need this product, if you won't reduce them for me, I won't work with you anymore. You know what will happen? Do you think the supplier will then automatically return the down payment to the buyer? Do you think the supplier will pay the time lost for the buyer? I don't think so. In the B2B purchasing business, this is very hard. Even you go to the court, I don't recommend that. So what is my solution? I think we should give the supplier a chance while we don't give up the quality. The one type of the lights didn't have the summer grace, not all. And when we check the types, there are more than 5 types: 10 watt, 13 watt, 15 watt, 100 watt, 200 watt. For this product, the higher power, the higher temperature risk. But this time is the 10 watt, the smallest power one. It didn't have the summer grace. So it means the risk is not the biggest. It's some smaller than the big power one. So we ask the supplier to test the temperature of the 10 watt one, which didn't have the summer grace. If the test report can prove the LED can still maintain a low temperature without summer grace, that's fine. And by this chance, we also asked the supplier to enhance the quality inspection for other points, such as select more samples of the big power one, break the glass to check if all of them have the summer grace or not, because the big one are the higher risk one. And also ask the supplier to do a self-checking about their material management system, to check if there are any other changing and the materials such as the LED chips, the driver components, the PCB, the glue, and the mass production products comparing with the initial sample. If the record shows the temperature is not enough and there is no other critical material changing, we can accept it. So that's all. I believe some of you may ask, why do you give up quality? Yes, this looks like we give up quality, but actually, technically, it's a kind of conditional acceptance. In B2B field, sometimes or many times suppliers make faults, but sometimes buyers also make faults, or buyers also have some additional requirements need suppliers support. So when this kind of things happen, we cannot just say yes or no. We need to, think about each other, try to find if there is something, some space we can negotiation. Meanwhile, we keep the quality, right? So that's the solution. But I also have to remind you, this solution is suitable for current customer for this case, but maybe not suitable for your other cases. When we design the solution, we have to know the product, we have to know the technical, but we also have to consider about what the quantity you buy from the supplier, what the priority you can get from the supplier, and then select the most suitable solution.